Hello everybody, welcome back to the Scentatar Fragrance channel. It's a pleasure to have you here back today. So thank you so much. If you're new to my channel, you know what to do. And if you're a subscriber, a big thank you from the bottom of my heart. So thank you for being here today. Let's talk about this fragrance. This is Blasted Heath by Penhaligons. Now Penhaligons is an English brand, and Blasted Heath is kind of talking about steamed or, just sun bearing down on some fresh picked herbs, some greens, some fresh foliage, those kinds of things. So let's talk about the smell, its composition, then let's talk about the projection longevity, the complement factor, and lastly the price. So you're going to get, again, a green fragrance. This one is a herbal fragrance. Now if you're unfamiliar with green fragrances at all, perhaps they can make us think of grandpa. Perhaps they can make us think of, vintage fragrances or perhaps outdated fragrances. But there's a lot of green faceted fragrances and even completely green fragrances that do a really good job out there. Now, this is a best-selling fragrance. And again, I was shocked. I didn't realize that this was that popular, but it is in England and perhaps other places where you want a classic kind of gentleman's green fragrance. So again, this is a herbal fragrance. It has, if you think of mint, if you think of, essential oils, that kind of vibe, that kind of feeling, it has that going on for sure. It has a little bit of lemon and bergamot off the top. It's fresh overall, but it's green. And it's just a green fragrance through and through. Perhaps there's a little bit of a patchouli or a non-sweetened tonka mixed in that blend. But overall, it's a green fragrance. And I think it is blended very well. Now, I think they did a really good job because it's hard to make a fragrance that feels full-bodied and kind of complex when you just use mostly herbal green notes that are usually light and perhaps fleeting and perhaps don't work very well together. It's hard to get notes like mint and rosemary and other notes to work in a really harmonious nature. So a very good job to the perfumer. Overall, with the projection longevity, I would say that this fragrance projects moderately. It is a kind of a lighter fragrance, and it projects decently, but because it's lighter, it doesn't get picked up as much as you might like it to. But arm's length, especially in the first hour, it is noticeable, and it lingers. It doesn't really die quickly, so that's good. But longevity-wise, it's about a 6-hour fragrance, perhaps 5 hours. Some people say they get pretty good longevity, but that's not my experience. Now, for the fragrance overall, with the complement factor, perhaps one of the most important things to us in the fragrance world. Of course, we want to smell unique, and we want to be appealing to other people as well as smell really good for ourselves. So this fragrance isn't terrible. I wasn't trying to build up to saying that this fragrance, it can't get you compliments. I just think that this fragrance is, especially in the West or the United States of America, I don't think that this is going to be a compliment factor. Perhaps in England, perhaps this style is much more appreciated. Again, it's an herbal, almost minty fragrance, and that's mostly what you get. Think of cilantro, think of rosemary, think of it doesn't really have basil going on, but if that's the only herb you're familiar with, parsley and basil, think of a fragrance that does a really good job of using those kind of notes. So it is pleasant. Again, if somebody really loves this, I think they're going to be a classic gentleman, a refined kind of guy. So perhaps he's French, a French gentleman, I think would fall in love with this fragrance as well. It's the quality is here through and through. But again, compliment factor wise, it does smell a little bit classy, which is kind of shocking for a green fragrance. Some of them smell kind of classic and kind of fresh, but classy. I think that this one has a little bit of that going on. So now we have to think about the price. We got a fragrance that's green, herbal, kind of a classy fragrance for gentlemen. It performs all right, but price-wise, these fragrances are about 150. Perhaps you can find a better deal if you pay full retail. I think they're even more than 150, so they can be fluctuating up and down, really depending on where you live. So this is a niche fragrance. This is an expensive fragrance. What are my final thoughts on this fragrance? I really recommend, especially if you're in the USA, that you go for Original Vetiver by Guerlain. I would recommend that you go to Guerlain Homme, Terre de Hermes by Hermes, Mugler Cologne. Perhaps you like Original Vetiver by Creed. I think that you're gonna like those fragrances more than this one. But if this fragrance sounded particularly interesting to you, and if you like green fragrances through and through, I really got to recommend this fragrance to you if you just love green fragrances. If this sounded like something that really sparked your interest, don't let me downplay this fragrance, or I'm not trying to make this fragrance sound bad. It's very well composed. The perfumer did a great job. And again, this fragrance in some parts of the world sells really well. So through and through, it's pretty good. Again, I think that there's a unique sharpness to this herbal fragrance, but it's well blended, and it doesn't suit my personality, doesn't suit my taste. I'm not the biggest person on going for compliments, even though I think they're important, and nothing's wrong if that's what you want, if that's what you're going for. But even for myself, I think that this fragrance is not going to be a compliment getter at all, and that's a little bit of a negative. In the West, I don't think this would offend anybody, but I think people just might be curious, or kind of perhaps even off-put. They're like, did you pour, rosemary all over yourself? Honestly, they might be thinking that. But overall, this is just my opinion, my honest take on this fragrance. Of course, you can get your own opinion, just like Jay Royal says. So shout out to him, love his content. So guys and gals, thank you so much for staying tuned today. If you do like this review, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you do like me, being outside out here in the wild, wild weather. If you like this kind of atmosphere, the beauty of outdoors, I try to, do a good job for all of you, my subscribers and everybody. So thank y'all so much for being here today. I think, again, interesting fragrance, all right performance, hard to recommend, but for some people out there, this is going to be a winner. So my final review score, I really again, this is highly subjective. I don't like doing it, but 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. It's an all right fragrance, but it's not a stunner. I'm not going to go out there buying this fragrance for myself personally. So this has been the Scentitar Fragrance channel. Let me know if you like more honest reviews, or if you just want reviews of the best of the things I love all the time, every time. So I'll see y'all next time. Thank y'all so much for being here today. This has been the Scentitar Fragrance channel, and I'll see ya next time.